Greetings, everybody. Greetings, everyone. This is Casey Tucker, your tournament director for your Peanut Flex and your assistant tournament director, assistant, and your course setup guide for your 2025 National Peanut Festival Disc Golf Classic. Today is Monday, September 29th. The time is roughly 8:30 p.m. Had a full day set up today with a bunch of awesome volunteers at the Peanut Festival Fairgrounds today. But we're going to record the players meeting. This is going to be your players meeting for the whole week of events, not just for the tournament on Saturday, but also for the Flex on Friday and the Dubs event on Sunday. So as you can see here, we're going to go through this play. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be the players meeting for the practice for Wednesday through Friday, your Peanut warm-up Flex on Friday, and your Peanut National Peanut Festival Disc Golf Classic Saturday, and the Big Money Dubs on Sunday. That's going to be hosted by Trey. Before we get started, I want to take a minute to make sure that we support our sponsors, to give a shout out to our sponsors: Visit Enterprise, Rotor Disc Golf Supply, Chick-fil-A of Enterprise, Intech, The Boss Healing, Chalker House Adventure Company, Critters Shaved Ice, Grocery Advantage, who sponsored all of our water that you're going to be taking advantage of during the tournament and throughout the week, the Artistry Collective, and our main sponsor, who you'll see on every sign and on every slide on this players meeting, is going to be Visit Dothan. So if you get a chance to support these guys, and you get a chance that you may want to use these guys in some form or fashion, just give them a look, give them a see. These, without these sponsors, this tournament probably would not have happened. So we want to give a big shout out to you guys for supporting us. Give us a chance to share your name. For allowing us to use your name as part of our tournament is a big, big win for us, and we really, really appreciate it. So before we get started, I want you to take a look at this overview map of arriving to the fairgrounds. So if you'll see a black arrow here, this is your north entrance. South entrance is going to be the green arrow right here. This is 231 Highway, and it looks like north this way is to Dothan. South this way is directly south to Marianna, and down that way. So all parking will be available to us. There's 3 places to park during the Peanut Festival throughout the week. Monday through Friday, if you're coming for practice or the Flex, your recommended parking is your south entrance down here on the south side. Come in down here. There's a big sign right here. It's not as big as this one up here on the north where the Big Peanut is, but there is a sign here that says South Entrance Parking, and that gate will be open right here, and you can park right there. This is a large parking lot. It can hold about 200 cars, and the walk from here to the Tournament Central or Hole 1 is very short, much shorter than if you park out here. Saturday during the tournament, you'll notice on this overview, if you're starting on 1 through 9, 11, 17, and 18, recommended or suggested to park in the south parking lot. You don't have to. It's just recommended. If you're starting on 15 and 16, you may want to park up here on this north parking lot, because where you'll start and end is going to be much closer. If you're going to start on 10, 12, 13, and 14, you may want to park up here in the admin parking. This parking lot can hold about 70 to 80 vehicles. This parking lot right here could probably hold about 600 to 700 vehicles, to kind of give you a size reference of how far out we're zoomed on this parking lot. Real quick, I'm going to how far we're zoomed out. If you are here at Hole 1's tee pad and you were to walk all the way to 13's tee pad here, you're just shy of a half a mile from walking. So that kind of gives you an idea of how zoomed out we are right here. Other than that, just make sure I mention Tournament Central is going to be right here in the Rodeo Pavilion, where they do a lot of the cattle shows. It's the outdoor pavilion, but it's covered. Also want to mention that you're going to have access to 3 bathrooms on site. Here, right here, which is right next to 16's tee pad. Here at Hole 1, there's a restroom right here. And this building right here that is in between holes 10 and 11. Notice the layout right here on the course. I'm going to go through it real fast. Hole 1 is going to start right here at Tournament Central. There's basket for Hole 1. You're going to turn right back around. Tee pad is Hole 2. Basket Hole 2. You're going to come to Hole 3 right here, which is your basket for Hole 3 is right here, parallel to the south parking lot, but there is a fence right here that separates the two. Once you finish this right here, basket hole 3, you're going to turn around and walk out this way. There's a gate right here. Do not walk back up hole 3's fairway. You're going to turn and you're going to walk out this way to hole 4. It's a shared tee pad, triple Mando under this narrow hallway right here. Hole 4's basket, hole 5's tee pad, hole 5's basket right here. You're going to turn. There's 6, 7, 8 right here is going to go right here. 9, after 9 right here, there's a fence right behind 9, and there's a gate right there that we'll have access to that you can walk directly to this parking lot. So that's why if you're starting on 10, you're going to finish right here on 9. If you start on 12, you're going to finish on 11, which is right here. And for that walk right there is very short. If you start on 13, you're going to finish on 12. So there's your 12 and 13's basket right there. So that's why if you start on 14, you're going to finish on 13, which is right there. If you start on 15 right here, you're going to finish on 14. So 14, you're going to finish right out here in the parking lot. So that's why it's quicker to go there. Okay. I know I spent a little extra time on that, but this is the whole overview of the course. So maybe you got a chance to look at that. All right. Things to know before you go. Monday through Tuesday, which is now today and tomorrow, since I'm recording this on Monday night, course is closed for setup. As of Monday night, right now, the course is about 85% set up. Tomorrow, we're going to do any small things, and we're going to do a test play tomorrow afternoon to make sure the course is ready to go. If it opens up earlier than that, I'll make an announcement. If it opens up to Tuesday afternoon late, I'll say, hey, guys, course is open. Come out and play it good until Friday. All right. Also, Wednesday through Friday, things to know before you come Wednesday through Friday if you're coming out to the course. Course will be open at 9 a.m. to dusk. Mr. David, who allows us to do this, he does all the setup for everything out there. He closes the gate just before dark. He wants us out of there before dark. So please, please, please leave before dark. Okay? Must be out of the park before dark to close the gates. We are their guests, so please act as such. Be respectful to all vehicles on site, as well as those operating equipment, and to all personnel on site. We must remember they're still preparing for the Peanut Festival at the end of October, beginning of November, and they have a lot of stuff they've got to do. So please remember, just be respectful to everybody. Treat them as if they were patrons, just like we're in a public park. Don't hit them. And if they're working on something, try to either play around them or let them know that you're coming. But again, they've got a lot of stuff they've got to take care of. Parking in the south parking lot is recommended if you're coming out Wednesday through Friday. Everyone usually will go to hole 1 to start, most likely. Most likely that's what's going to happen. Do not, I repeat, do not leave vehicles on premises overnight because the gates are locked. Baskets for holes 12 and 13 will not be in place. We set up the tee pads today. They have gold flags where the baskets are so that you can still range it. You can still get a distance. There's 3 gold flags for each basket, but they will remain there until Friday. And right before Friday, right before the flex, I'm going to put the baskets out. I still have to take them up Friday night because they're unprotected and somebody can just come up and steal them. So we can't put 12 and 13 out, and I'm not going to before Friday morning. All right, Friday, event details for Friday for the warm-up. Even though it is a Flex Friday, it is still open for practice for those not playing the Flex. Check-in starts at 8:30. First tee is at 9. The last tee is actually at 4. I'm going to change this to 4, but it is actually 4 o'clock is the last tee time. It's not 4:15. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The player pack for the Flex will be a bottle of water or a drink, and then there's no limit on that. You can get as many as you want. That's just part of coming out and supporting us. The PDGA access code will be given at hole 1. I'm not going to give it out before then just because this is a temporary course, and that's the way it is. For the layouts, MPO and MA1 and MA40 and MA2 are going to play the blue layout for Flex. Everybody else is going to play the red layout. There's not going to be a combo like short, long, short, long, short, long. It's just going to be reds or blues, and that is also listed in Disc Golf Scene if you have any questions about that. On Saturday, for the National Peanut Festival Disc Golf Classic, check-in's going to start at 8. You can pick up your player pack then. After you pick up your player pack, you can go ahead and head to your hole. This is the players meeting for the tournament. 8:45 or 9, in between there, we're going to give a brief welcome for those who are still present at hole 1 before you head to your holes. It's just going to be a thanks for coming. We appreciate everything, but we want to do it in person instead of over just a recorded message. Shotgun start at 9:15. There's going to be a lunch break at the end of round 1, which hopefully it's going to be around 12. And then I'm hoping at the latest we can start at 1:30 for round 2. For the layouts, MPO and MA1 will play blues both rounds. MA40 and MA2 are going to play a round from the blues and then a round from the reds. We're going to mix it up. And then everybody else that I have not mentioned will play red layout. Double check disc golf scene because I know Zach put that in there. And I made sure I read over it, but I'm getting an old person, so I may have forgot. But disc golf scene will be more accurate with that because Zach may have also changed it before the tournament. I know he was kind of debating there for a little bit, kind of figured out, but it will be in disc golf scene. Okay, it also be in the PDGA. But if you're going out there for practice, it just go ahead and play both rounds or play both layouts. I mean, they're both fun. That's the whole point about us trying to get out there early this week and get you guys to where you have an extra 2 days to go and practice this layout. It's pretty cool that we're able to do this early. All right, so that's everything for Saturday. For Sunday, the Big Money Dubs hosted by Trey. Arrive at 9. You're going to random flip for dubs, and you're going to have your team set then. Sponsored by Soar Disc Golf. And give a shout out to them. Thanks for Trey, for getting that sponsor. Really cool that they were able to get that for Sunday. 50% of the payout goes to first place. 25% is going to go to CTP. I think he told us today he's going to have 4 CTP holes. He's still trying to determine which ones he wants to get used. He's also going to have CTP prizes. There's $335 added to the A spot, and he said that as a rolling A spot. It may change a little bit before the event, so don't get hung on that number. It could change for the good, or somebody may hit. It could go down a little bit. So you can sign up on UDisc. If you choose to sign up the day of, it's going to be a cash only the day of the event. Immediately following the Dubs event, teardown will begin. So we're going to ask for volunteers. And what teardown means is we need trucks and trailers, as many as we can get, because the more we have, the quicker it takes. We got to pick up hay bales and put them back on the peanut trailers, and we got to pick up baskets and put them back under the protected area to where we can move them when we get a chance. The hay bales are going back to Mr. David. He's letting us borrow the hay bales, so do not try to tear these hay bales up, please. He's not charging it. He is not charging us for the bales because we're only borrowing. But we need to take care of these hay bales because next year, if we just are not respectful to him at all, he may not allow us to use the hay bales. And those hay bales are crucial for the whole aesthetic of the course. It makes it look so good for it being a peanut festival. All right. So what to look out for? Some things I've already mentioned, but I'm going to go over again. 3 restrooms listed on the overview that I went over. There's also going to be 3 coolers with water located throughout the Peanut Fairgrounds, which you're going to have access to for multiple holes. And I'll give you, for instance, there's going to be a cooler on hole 7, but you're also going to be able to access it off of hole 16. So there's also going to be a cooler on hole at the end of hole 9 going to hole 10, but you're going to be able to access from hole 10 and hole 12. And then there's also going to be a cooler at hole 1 that you're going to be able to access at hole 1. Okay. Lots of OB that will be painted and flagged in orange. All OB is going to be stringed in orange, painted in orange, and flagged in orange. So all orange, fluorescent orange is OB. Drop zones are flagged and noted in green. I wanted to keep everything the same. So there's green flags and green paint on the ground. And I know green paint, green grass, it's crazy. Why would I do that? You can still see it. I looked at it. But drop zones are painted and flagged in green. There's 4 holes with Mandos throughout the course, 4 of them. They're also going to be listed on your T signs. So we're going to go over that right here in just a second. So we went over the whole week of events, the schedule, what to look out for. So now let's go about what the holes are going to look like. Let's get into the caddy book. So each hole will have hay bales marking the location of each tee pad. And each hay bale will have color flags on them and this is going to tell you what layout you're about to step up to. Your tee sign or your tee pad will also be colored in which the color that you're supposed to be throwing from, red or blue. It's either going to be painted on the ground or chalked on the sidewalk. Now the chalk looks more pink and more light blue, but that's what sidewalk chalk is. Now we can't do anything permanent on the asphalt. This is what we're stuck with. We do it every year. However, I did paint more T pads in the grass so that we have less chalk. All right. So on each hay bale, you're going to have an overview sign giving you a bird's eye view of the hole that will be clearly marking the OB, the hole number, where the drop zones are, and if there's any mandos. There's also going to be attached right next to that overview sign, it's going to be a distance sign marking. It's going to give you the distance from each T-pad, your PDGA OB notes, your Mando notes, and your general course notes. So what does that look like? No, this is what it looks like written out. So this is what each hole is going to look like. So this is an example. This is hole 17. This is a new hole this year. So on the left side, you can see clearly marked what hole you're at, what par it is, what your distance is from red, what your distance is from blue, your OB notes in yellow, Mando notes in purple if there's a Mando on the hole. You're only going to see Mando notes if there's a Mando, of course. And then in gray is general notes. General notes applies to every hole on the course from 1 to 18. General notes doesn't change from 1 to 18. They're all the same. Every T sign will say the exact same general notes. Hole notes will change. Mando notes, of course, will change as well. All right. So right next to it, you're looking at a bird's eye view to the right of the hole, what it looks like from the blue to red to your drop zone, but down to your T. So your OB red, everything in red is OB. And it's listed. All areas in red OB, details listed in the PGA app. The PDGA app notes and hole notes are the same. So the yellow notes that you see here is the exact same thing that you're going to see in PDGA. So look at hole 1 or 17 real quick. Number 1, flags and line marked right of fairway, which is right over here. That whole line over there is flagged and marked with OB. The road near the basket plays as a river. You can see it right there near the basket. Fence in beyond behind the basket is OB. So there's a fence behind the basket and all that beyond's OB. So you can look at your overview, see what's OB, and then you can corroborate that and confirm that with your notes over here to the side. All right. So real quick, let's go through the whole caddy book since this is a temporary course. Normally we wouldn't do this, but we're going to look at each one really quick. I'm not going to go super in depth. On some of them I won't. Some of them I'm just going to breeze over. Hole 1, shared T-pad. You can tell it's a shared T-pad because red and blue are the same distance. You can look down on the overview map and the red and blue T-pad are right there together. And you can look real quick. Concrete and bleachers are OB, both sides. There's no OB behind the basket. And again, what's red is OB. Hole 2, there's a lot of red, you can tell. There's a fence that runs along the right side of the fairway. There's a road, 2 roads that intersect one another that plays as a river up next to the basket. The OB has been stretched back a little bit this year for hole 2 to make it a little bit more challenging to give you a chance to run it. Okay. Hole 3, you're teeing off from OB and there's a fence behind it and a fence next to it. But again, like I said, it's going to corroborate itself. You know, you have a fence going down there. There's a fence that intersects the fairway, which is not OB, but again, I put that in there that it is safe. Hole 4 hasn't changed. Triple Mando with a Z. There's a drop zone marked under the eve. The Mando is not actually marked on this hole physically at the Triple Mando because it takes away from the size. It makes the size of that area smaller, even with just a little sign. So if you can't figure it out, I mean, it's the same as it has always been. 5 is going to be the same. There's a Mando left, so there's a drop zone mark there, and the road around the basket plays as the roads plays a river, but it's road and right and beyond is what you need to look out for. 6 is pretty easy. There's a road that goes around the whole fairway. Blue tees off from OB, so you got to cross over into to be safe. 7 hasn't changed. The roads are going to be your natural markers there. You got your blue and your red that's going to be marked. Nothing really special here to go. 8 kind of changed a little bit this year. We're not going to the pavilion under. It's going to be a straight shot, but like I said, it's all going to be marked there. 9 hasn't changed. You have kind of an island green right there, but there's a fence behind it that's going to be out of bounds, but you have a dump out spot right there to the left just early. But again, look at your overview. It kind of breaks everything down for you. 10's a little different. It's a par 5. All blacktop asphalt's going to be OB. And on 10 and 11, you're going to hear me say Midway Road. The Midway Road is this big oval road right here, and it's wide. That's the Midway Road. that's going to play as OB as blacktop asphalt. Pretty much all blacktop asphalt, which is listed in general notes, is going to play as OB. 11 hasn't changed. You're going to have OB marking, but you can see there that it's going to be clearly marked right here. This is going to be clearly marked with OB flags and a line right there in orange. 12 is the same, playing out to the peanut. The only thing that you have to watch out for is this little section right here that is going to play as OB. That's a fence, and that's a fence, and there's a building in here. You have to walk through here to get through. All that's going to be OB because we don't want you throwing inside the building right there. Okay, 13 hasn't changed. It's just a road, and the parking lot's going to play as OB. 14, there's a drop zone here for anything that doesn't cross back over into inbounds. And hole 11, I'm going to go back just to real quick. Hole 11, there's no drop zone. So if you throw it out of bounds and you don't cross inbounds, you have to rethrow it from your previous lie. Okay, so 14, it's a little different. If you don't cross over, like I said, this is on the T sign, you can move up to the drop zone right here and throw, but you're going to be throwing with a penalty. 15 hasn't changed. Like I said, it's going to be pretty much natural with a fence and all the road around it's going to play OB. 16 is going to be the same. It's a par 4 going all the way up to that basket. This up here is going to have hay bales denoting the out of bounds, but it's all strung and all flat, so you're going to be able to see it clearly. 17 already went over, and then 18 is a little change. You got a double mando drop zone here, but, the road denotes the markings there. Okay? So that is pretty much the whole players meeting, guys. I want to end it here. And like I said, if y'all have any questions, call me, text me, or see me there. Look forward to seeing you.